Manchester United have reached the promised land. This is absolutely astonishing.
USA, go! Oh man. Yo, it always feels so good to hear John Stark. Ian Dark. What am I talking about? I am in a Knicks mentality right now for no reason because that team sucks. But we are still coming to you live from the city of New York. Mm-hmm. It is a beautiful day outside, Rohtas.
Absolutely.
I am Justin Block. I'm joined as always by Rohtas. And Rohtas, we had a good omen on the show today, didn't we?
Oh, wow. Yes, we did.
Didn't we?
Getting over here. That's why we were a little late.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
We had to stop and gawk at someone because when we were walking over here, next to the Quaterion, what was it, 11th and 2nd? Rafi from the league, just standing there, posted up,
I
man.
wish we knew what his real name was.
Yeah, I can't remember at all.
It's a shame that he still isn't that well known of an actor.
Right, but he still had the whole beard thing going on. He looked just as wild.
He was swagged out, though.
Oh.
I mean, he had a nice blue.
Yeah, I saw his selvage jeans, man. He knew how to dress. He looked like he's been to New York 1 or 2 times.
Oh, yeah. Right, I mean, oh, yeah. Definitely.
So we're very pumped about Rafi, but we're actually more pumped. Actually, I'm not pumped. You're pumped. You had a good morning, Rohtas. Let's get into it. Manchester Derby action was today. Critical fixture for Manchester City and Manchester United coming to the game. Both of them really are competing for a second place now.
Right.
That's what this top 4 race all of a sudden in the span of 2 weeks with Liverpool getting cut is like, oh man, who's gonna get second place? Manchester United at Old Trafford ended up 4-1. Rohtas, break it down to me. What were you expecting going into the match, and how did the results play out?
I had a conversation with our good friend Fabian. He asked me score prediction because obviously, it's an important game. I said I thought it was going to be 3-1. I thought we were going to win the game 3-1.
Woo! Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay.
And it certainly played out that way. It was a great game. So much intensity and passion in this game, as there always is with any derby.
The first 2 goals in the first 13 minutes. Arlo White was creaming himself viciously throughout the match.
He was losing his mind.
At halftime, he was like, "Halftime, let's all go lay down now." I was like, "Oh man, Arlo, gee, I'm still tired, man."
We all need to lie down. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that was all about. That was strange.
He got pumped, man, and the atmosphere at Old Trafford was electric as well. And anytime you get 2 opening goals in a derby match, within that period of time, you're going to have a cracking rest of the fixture.
Exactly.
Why couldn't Manchester City rebound after giving up the first the United goal? Because City opened with a 1-0 lead, and you think, okay, game on right now. But they did go into halftime losing.
Yeah.
Which was that. I mean, that's death for City, right?
Mm-hmm, it always is. Yeah. I mean, that staggering stat. Arlo White took it. I'm wondering where he found it, but yeah, I found it midweek. I found this stat midweek, so don't listen to Arlo White. But
okay,
anyway,
what is the stat you're very proud of? Rohtas?
Yeah, so Manchester City has never. It's been 20 years since they've won while being away from home and trailing at the half.
20 years?
20 years.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, it's true.
What? They've won 2 titles in the past 3-4 years,
right? And
how do they
2 decades?
And they haven't come from behind away from home
That
once.
shows you the this.
Well, it shows you how important the Etihad's been to them because ever since they've become this title-winning side, the Etihad has been a crucial sort of fortress for them. Where if you go in there, you're probably not leaving with a point.
Honestly, it just looked like City just lacked the effort required. United have, they've started to put things together.
Right.
Michael Carrick was, as always, spectacular. Phil Jones had a great game.
We could talk about Ander Herrera, too.
At the back. Yeah, Ander Herrera has been absolutely spectacular.
That Carrick-Herrera midfield
has been,
he's crucial, man.
He's going with the 4-1-4-1 now. So he's kind of like, he's changed the approach with those, with Carrick sitting in front of
Carrick's protecting the back 4. Mm-hmm. And then who's paired with Herrera in midfield?
Mata.
Oh, so Mata's playing center mid.
So that's been the pairing that has finally, really worked out. Then you have Fellaini and then Young. Young has been.
So you have Carrick shuffling the ball to Mata and Herrera in attack, and that's really working out.
Oh, yeah. Carrick's got a 90% pass accuracy for this season. Well,
that just tells you that the movement up front has been solid because Mata knows how to get into the right spaces, and Herrera has shown that he's very, very willing to get on the ball. make the first man miss, turn his shoulders, and look upfield to deliver a pass. We saw that today on a few moves. Herrera has actually been very, very impressive to me. I think during the broadcast, one of the NBCSN commentators said like something to the effect of Herrera is doing a job in there. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Doing a job in there? But I think it's a testament to the sort of workman-like, industrious role that he's taken to in the center of United's midfield. And for a Spanish player, first year in the Premier League, to sort of earn that sort of working class title or role with Manchester United is impressive. It speaks to how really mature he is and how much, how important he is to the side.
Yeah, I would agree with you completely. Basically this whole team now has been extremely efficient in front of goal, whether it's whipped crosses, coming into the box or using Fellaini's head to set up goals. Guys have just been clinical in their finishing at the right time, and perhaps and they're setting up good opportunities too. Now they're finally playing good football. It's not just goals because of luck. They're finally creating some really great chances, and they broke down City numerous times. Gael Clichy got worked twice on. Vincent
Kompany had to get subbed off.
Right.
I mean, on that challenge, he just got destroyed. Dude.
Oh yeah, because that challenge on Blind,
that should have been a red card.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
That was extremely rash. You could see him grab for his quad before he went into the challenge, so that karma, right? But City, to me, like United, I'm used to like these past 6 weeks. It's pretty much been a well-oiled machine, and Ben Hall has not changed.
Look at the form guide.
They have not changed one.
When was the last time you lost at home, dude?
Exactly.
What?
He has not changed a thing, and it's been the key.
So you're still playing 3 at the back?
No.
Okay. So he's.
I mean, since he's made the change. Since he's made the change to the 4-1-4-1, he hasn't touched. That's why Di Maria isn't in the lineup for starters. That's why Falcao isn't in the lineup.
Yikes.
Van Persie's out due to injury.
Yikes.
And this is the best team we got out there. It's incredible.
I like how pieces had to fall down. I mean, sometimes that's the way your season works out. Right. You need to luck into finding a right combination, because guys that would normally think you'd be in the starting 11, they get injured, they lose form, they get dropped out, and the team rises up around it. So credit to Ben Hall. If there was any manager that was going to get this out of his side this season, it's him,
right?
Because he's who he is.
He's the evil, the mad genius.
It's incredible to look at United's home form, which is so strong. They've won their last 6 matches at home, and then you can juxtapose it with City's away form. They've lost their last 4 games on the road.
Right.
Manchester City. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they've dropped to 13th in the form guide. Rohtas, do you think they have any? Do you think they're going to drop out of top 4?
No.
Okay.
There's no way. Southampton, and if it was a game, like if it was a 3-point lead, then there's always that possibility. But City would need to lose another 2 games, I think, for this to really happen. And it could happen, but that would mean that Liverpool and Southampton would have to go on a pretty darn good run out of the blue in order to catch them. And it's tough to say because Manchester City, this team has absolutely just lost all of its motivation, every last ounce of it. Yaya Toure is a shell of himself out there. He needs to go off to France or somewhere so that
dude, maybe Italy.
Italy is perfect. Perfect. Throw him back in Inter.
Call it this summer. Let's do a Yaya Toure, Paul Pogba swap deal.
Oh no, he would never go to Juve. Never.
How do you know? Actually, why would a black player go to Italy willingly?
That's true. Racism is rampant.
I wouldn't go to.
I would not go.
Maybe
there.
France is better.
France is better for him, I think.
I feel like all of the Premier League's leftovers should just go to PSG.
Right? And maybe not PSG, but
let's get Zlatan in here, man.
Zlatan's not going.
Okay, let's not go down this transfer rabbit hole. It's so easy to do that.
I know, but City.
You're right. Yaya Toure looks like a shell of himself,
and
especially compared to what he was last year.
Right, and he carried these teams. Him and Aguero, the 2 guys, have carried City to those titles. And Aguero,
David Silva as well.
David Silva, Aguero finally broke his goal scoring streak. Drought. He broke his drought after 5 games.
Yikes.
5-6 games, and this was the leading scorer in the Premier League.
Right.
When we were looking at them being more dangerous, he fell off.
Right. I mean,
and then Toure fell off.
When he's on his game, arguably far and away the best player in the Premiership. You could say. But if you look at City, I think Pellegrini spoke about this in the media earlier this week. with Manchester City, and they need to really turn over their players every 2 to 3 years, because at the rate of success that they've had and the wages that they pay, I think honestly, you get players that might get a little fat with it.
Oh yeah, you get complacent, especially after you won.
This crop of players has won 2 titles. If you look at their age, we have Yaya Torre's 31, David Silva's 29, Edin Dzeko's 29, James Milner's 29, Nasri's 27, Jesus Navas is 29, Kompany's 29, Kolarov is 29, Gael Clichy's 29. You have Joe Hart's. Look at that. Joe Hart's already 27 years old. Wow. This is already a team that...
There's not a single player younger than 27, and that's ridiculous.
Right. They're going to have to turn over their squad. I mean, Fernando's 27 as well. So your entire midfield, basically, most of your defense, and basically all of your strikers are either, right about to fall off their prime. This is when, like, I feel like Arsene Wenger would have sold these guys a year ago.
How old's Mangala? Because, like...
Oh, Mangala? He's 24.
Okay.
So if you're looking at Manchester City for next season, players that you can expect to be here and contribute larger next year, Wilfred Boney's one. He'll be in his age 27 season, so he'll be peaking as a striker. Jovetic, if they can ever get anything out of him, he'll be 26. He can
stay healthy. I mean, that guy's talented.
Mangala, as you mentioned, but I think we're just going to see a lot of in and out in the summer. And those players that I just named may not even be starting next season, because I don't know who they'll bring in. Maybe Raheem Sterling, Philip Coutinho, and Jordan Henderson for like 120 million pounds. No, that's complete BS.
Well, hey, they're just for the entire Liverpool midfield, right. City, right? We'll stir up those rumors.
Yeah, let's get that going.
We'll stir that up.
James Milner's 29.
Of course,
I'm just gonna keep reading it off. But we're beating Manchester City down right now.
Don't even mention like Gael Clichy and Bakary Sagna and Zabaleta. They all and Di Michaelis, like old men out here.
These guys, I mean, they're the Yankees of Europe, dude.
They need that youth. They absolutely need that youth. And who knows, man? This summer is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
Oh, man. The transfer rumors this summer are going to be crazy. City's going to come out swinging.
I'm just so glad we got payback. I am so happy. We have not, it had been, I think, 3 or 4 matches since we'd actually beaten City. And just to win finally by a margin that they had beaten us by, or a similar margin, that it's about time. And to really put a cushion between them and the table. All of a sudden, you have bragging rights over Manchester City. Woo! And we're in third, sitting pretty. So right behind Arsenal.
I think the effects of this game coming out are really for Manchester City. They're only 5 points above Southampton. If Liverpool beat Newcastle tomorrow, they'll be only 4 points behind Manchester City, which means every Liverpool fan will be like, "Oh my God, we're only 4 points off fourth again. Let's get the season back." Even though we all know everyone's kind of mentally just geared towards the FA Cup. If you look at City's schedule coming up, since March 1st, 5 of their 7 games have been on the road. They've lost all 5 of those games.
Wow.
But this month, they're finally coming home. For the rest of the season, I think they only have 2 games on the road. So they'll be at home. Or maybe it's 3 games on the road. Either way, they're going to finish out the majority of their season safe at home. They'll be able to coast along, finish top 4, and figure out what the hell they're going to do next year. Liverpool, on the other hand, I think they only have 2 switch, basically. They only have 2 home matches coming up. So Liverpool fans, we're going to get ahead of ourselves. It's going to be fun. I'm going to get soup maybe for like 3 weeks, and then May 10th, I'll be like, oh, crap. Right? We're going to be in the Europa League next season. But yeah, shouts to Manchester City for like really, really falling apart now, making things fun again.
Well, I mean, speaking of somebody that actually didn't make things fun and just ruined everything, the Blues had Cesc. Why, Cesc? Why did you have to do that? 88th minute game winner.
Breaking QPR's heart.
Breaking QPR's
For the second
heart.
time this season. For the second time this season.
Like, at the death. And I mean...
Did you see the photo of Chris Ramsey? QPR's manager?
You showed me, yeah. That was
as soon as he saw the Fabregas goal come in, he just dropped to his hands and knees, put his hands over his head. So much shame in that man.
No. I mean, yeah, that would have made things so interesting, because you're looking at...
QPR dropped down now. They're in the drop zone. They needed those 3 points, man.
You mean the draw? They needed the 1 point.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They made
and Chelsea would have been at 71, wouldn't they? Chelsea would be at 71 points, which means a 5-6 point lead with a game in hand.
Game on for Arsenal, right?
Right? Game on. All of a sudden, with 6 games left and 7 for them, absolutely not out of the question. And now
I wanted to declare
you
Chelsea
want to.
as the other football Premier League champions right now, but we're not going to. One more week. Chelsea, they're on 31 games played. They have 73 points in the table. Arsenal's played 32 games. They have 66 points. So, with that game in hand, Chelsea can go, 10 points up on Arsenal next weekend.
Right, against guess who?
Manchester
United.
Oh,
all right.
man, this is going to be fun.
Double check. I believe it's at the Bridge, correct?
It is at the Bridge.
It is at the Bridge. So that is obviously going to be a tough task. Our road form has not been very good. It's safe to say that's our game of the week.
Oh, next week?
It better be.
Of course it is.
Dude. It is. It's not even close, but because it's United versus Chelsea. It always is a big match. Yeah, away form hasn't been too great, but again, we've only lost 2 games this season with Michael Carrick in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
you can get a point for sure.
Mm-hmm. I do think so. That again, the way that they frantically defended today in the first 15 minutes worries me because Chelsea can easily go 2-0
City
up.
walks right in on you.
Right.
I was surprised that City was they weren't able to generate anything else after that because all they did was overload the box on you really patiently, really great, great play.
Yeah.
And then after that, they couldn't generate anything.
Not sure what happened, but it's going to be a fun match. Don't be surprised if we know how Jose Mourinho loves to lock it up, throw away the key.
Oh, of course. You know how it goes.
Yeah, so I'm just hoping that it doesn't become one of those 1-0 games, but it probably will at this stage in the season with this much on the line. Mourinho's not going to look to. I mean, I think they will look to win the game, but if it gets to about 50 to 60 minutes in and it's tied, you're going to look to see them lock it up.
Yeah, I mean,
the bus.
He'll have no problem going 8 points up.
Mm-hmm. None whatsoever, as opposed to Arsenal and United making up room. If United, that would mean that they would move up to within 5 points, with a game in hand, though.
If United win,
right?
I feel like everyone's playing for second place this year.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's seemingly been because we thought City were in it. It's such malarkey how how Pellegrini tried. He did his best. Pellegrini really tried to get these guys motivated and said, "Look, we're at the same stage we were last year. We're going to go on this run," and then
I think they haven't made very good transfers. They haven't worked the transfer market.
And they've just fallen apart. We really thought that they were going to be in this race.
Yeah. Till
the end, and this has just been.
They haven't been very good at, I think, disposing of players.
Yeah, they've been there for a while. When you think about it, yeah, it's just it's time. It's time.
It's time. Change of the guard.
Yeah,
now.
It's time for Manchester City. Yeah. So United versus Chelsea is going to be an absolute thriller next week. Obviously, I just wonder.
No, come on, it can't be a thriller.
It's not going to be a thriller.
Think about these. Come on. All right, let me stop you right there.
I'm just saying.
Let me stop you right there.
They're friends.
Jose
and Mourinho are friends. Right. They're just not gonna.
Jose at the Bridge, under no pressure to go for it at all, with Louis van Gaal and this Manchester United team that has been easily the most boring team in the league this season. This isn't going to be a thriller.
Rather, excluding the last 6 weeks.
This is going to be a drag your feet in the sand.
Excluding the last 6 weeks.
This is going to be a cover your eyes and punch it downfield. Boring match. I'm going to fall asleep at noon watching this match.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 12:30. It'll probably be a beautiful day. I can't wait, man. I mean, what am I talking about? I'm still getting excited over it. We know what's going to happen. But I'm just excited to see, now it's like, can we really win? Can we really get this done and beat the Blues? Because when you're playing the way that they are, you feel like you can beat anybody on any given day. So It's going to be a dandy. Expect Wayne Rooney to turn up. Wayne Rooney will turn up, and just that whole midfield has been monster. Yeah. So hopefully Di Maria can give him a spark off the bench in that one. But
what are you going to do with Di Maria, man?
Well, they're keeping him.
Right? Are they?
They're refusing to sell him, and he'll be
he wants to go to PSG so badly.
He will be miserable. he will be miserable out in Manchester. And
you guys have a fun summer coming up too,
right? Well, as long as we don't lose David De Gea, it'll be a fun summer. Yeah.
So decisions have to be made on the De Gea front, who's attracting serious interest from Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Who? De Gea?
Yeah, that you're looking for. Oh no, decisions have to be made on Angel Di Maria if he had to leave.
Oh right.
Falcao, either you spend 40 million euros and buy him.
They're not. Yeah.
So that's already
that's
one
confirmed.
Thing.
Yeah,
that's
confirmed.
Done.
Falcao's done. Falcao's not coming.
So you still have to make the decision there. You have to swallow that pill, which will suck.
Yes.
And then maybe Wayne Rooney will want to go to Chelsea.
Oh God,
he won't.
That would never happen.
He's I feel like
he's too much a part of United.
I feel like you still have another 1 or 2 years before until Wayne Rooney agitates for another transfer. I feel like every 2 to 3 years, Rooney's like he gets upset.
No, why would he now? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't have a reason to. I feel like United, they're spending, they're consolidating, getting back in top 4,
and they take care of him. I mean, he's the face of the most, profitable club in the entire world.
And this Premier League, the table that it's looking now, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this looks just about right to me, as painful as that is. Because I feel like Arsenal, City, Manchester United, Chelsea, those are the 4 teams that I think from now until, for the next 3 years at least, those are going to be the 4 teams fighting for top 4. As much as it pains me to say that, that's now top 4 consolidated. They all can compete with each other financially in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
They already have the established quality there. And then you look a little bit further down, you have Liverpool, Tottenham, and really Southampton, I think, competing for Europa League for the next 3 years, too. This is the way the classism in the Premier League has been split up right now.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think just how Tottenham is perennially in the same spot every year. Like, I can't imagine what that's like.
They blew it, dude. And Liverpool blew it last summer, too. When you sell your marquee player and you have your £100 million summer.
Yeah, we know. Yeah,
you got to consolidate. You have to hit on all of those signings. And both Liverpool and Tottenham didn't hit on the high end of those signings. I think in Tottenham's case, it was Soldado missing out there. That really hurt him. Lamella. Those were 2 of their bigger signings. Totally missed out there. For Liverpool, I guess Lallana and Lovren to an extent.
Right.
I'll tell you, you can't spend more than 20 million on any one player and then really miss out, especially when you're a club like Liverpool, Tottenham.
Oh yeah, it's tough. It's tough, definitely.
Because United, you guys.
Yeah, we talked about how
we're not even in the same market as you guys for players.
Right.
When Di Maria gets on the market, only United is around for £65 million.
Yeah.
Despite them not being in Champions League. Liverpool, meanwhile, they're sniffing around to sign freaking Ricky Lambert. All right, so that's
wow. You just went in, and I
haven't been on the show in 2 weeks, man.
That's true.
I haven't been on the show since United mauled us.
2 weeks?
No, since Arsenal mauled us. Yeah.
Right. Oh right. Yeah, that is. You're right.
Last weekend I was unavailable for Easter.
Right. Yeah.
So right. I didn't even get to harp on.
Right.
The destruction of Liverpool.
Right, yeah, we talked about the youth that they have and that they are going to be good one day.
Liverpool?
They're a year or 2 away, basically.
Yeah, the way I see Liverpool right now, they're basically Arsenal back when Arsenal was building the Emirates and they really couldn't compete on the high end of the market. And every year it was like, well, we're getting better. We'll see how we do next year. Hopefully our best player doesn't get poached away, and hopefully the kids grow up. And that was like that for Arsenal for the longest time. You had Fabregas leave, you had Adebayor leave, you had Van Persie leave. You had all these players leave year after year. You didn't have a marquee name coming back in, and that was because they were playing off the stadium.
Right.
Liverpool now, they're expanding Anfield. They're not spending at the high end of the market. They're waiting. Difference is Arsenal had Wenger.
Yeah, big difference.
We have Brendan Rodgers, who may or may not. We don't know.
The jury's still out. But yeah, that's the state of Liverpool. Ooh, they'll be just fine. You just gotta wait it out. Patience is a virtue, my friend. Patience is a virtue.
Yeah, not in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, sports is just a win now thing.
Where every single year
doesn't exist
the
anymore.
gap between rich and poor in the Premier League.
Coaches and managers get fired.
Right.
Probably more than anybody else working. Can you imagine that? Just the insecurity that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. It must be
Oh,
incredible.
absolutely. It must eat you alive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jose Mourinho talked about this. He had a great interview, and I think it was the Telegraph this week. They did a whole long feature on him. And he wakes up every single morning, gets to Chelsea's training office in Surrey at 7:30 in the morning. And for the next 2 hours, he locks his door and he has thinking time.
Wow.
He's like, I use that time to be by myself, to be alone, to analyze, so that I don't have to wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat thinking about tactics, thinking about a player. He needs alone time so he can really handle the pressures and emotionally get himself ready. Because he was like,
story.
You have a match on Sunday, you might win the match, you might be feeling good, but then the next day you have training, then you have a match maybe on Wednesday, maybe it's a Champions League match, you lose that, maybe, all of a sudden you're playing on Sunday again, but you have 2 training sessions in between. You have to be at such an emotional, consistent playing the entire time. And he described it as, when you win, the supporters don't want to see you in the moon, but when you lose, you don't want to be that critical of your squad, but you want to be fair, you want to be judicious. You want the supporters to feel like you care and that you're going to rebound with something. So I mean, that's the life of the Premier League manager,
right? Absolutely.
So that's why I can feel Chris Ramsey when he puts his hands in his head in shame.
Right, managers in the relegation battle have a lot to deal with, and somebody who's one of our favorite question to ask.
Yeah.
Has Nigel Pearson been sacked yet?
No, he is not.
He's, after supposedly getting fired and coming back, what a response his team is on, back-to-back wins, really stealing the game from West Brom at a crucial time in the season. Jamie Vardy with an absolutely incredible finish in the 90th minute.
He's sick, dude.
Incredible. I mean, that's the stuff that you love about the Premier League, and now all of a sudden, we thought Leicester was doomed, but back-to-back wins, and don't look now, they're 3 points off from the other 2 teams.
What? Oh, okay. So you think they might?
I think they could save themselves.
You think they could save themselves?
I think they've been the unluckiest team out of the lot. Out of those teams down there, Sunderland deserves to go down, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Villa deserves to go down, but they won't because Tim Sherwood and Benteke somehow
keep scoring goals. Yeah, Tim Sherwood got to stick it to Spurs. How incredible is that? That is something else, huh?
Yeah, and Liverpool have a date with him in the FA Cup semifinal.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah, but QPR, it's a tough battle now that they have a game over everybody. That's just gonna give Burnley and Leicester an opportunity, but it's gonna be a fun relegation battle. I always love that stuff.
Survival Sunday is going to be good. It won't be Championship Sunday this year, unfortunately. It'll be Survival Sunday. That's all we have for the other football this week. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. We'll see everyone next week after that critical Chelsea United match. What time is it? 12:30 p.m.?
12:30. Maybe we crown Chelsea.
Maybe we crown them champions next week. Yeah. We'll see. Tune in, guys. Thank you.
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of
epic proportion.
Oh, yeah.